Welcome to the Well-Seasoned Librarian podcast. I'm your host, Dean Jones, and this is season 7, episode 1. I am so blown away to have gotten to 7 seasons of this podcast. I had started it as a lark, and I don't think I knew where I was going with it when I started it. And here I am today doing season 7, and I'm getting to interview today Chetna Makan, who is on great the British Bakeoff program. I got to see her there more than once, and she had lasted until the end, just about, and was a great contender. And to be able to see her on TV and then talk to her is just thrilling. I've been so lucky since I started this with the people I've been able to talk to and the great guests that I've had on, just get a little bit of their time and talk to them about their lives and what they do, and just it's just, the best. It really is. I can't begin to tell you how wonderful this is. So hope that you take some of that into listening to the interview with Chetna. She's just a great guest, and I really love getting a chance to talk to her. I hope I get to talk to her again. So she was on 2014 series of the Great British Bake Off, and I think they brought her back a few times on subsequent revisiting episodes where they had people come back. So she's just been great, but she's a very prolific writer, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about her here. Her first book was The Cardamom Trail, and then she's written multiple books since then, about a book a year. So she's been just, publishing like crazy. But, the books are just fantastic, and I really want to recommend you get them. If you like cooking like I do, and then you also like to have a window into Indian cooking, like I'm very interested in it. I'm lucky we have a lot of great places to get Indian food around where I live here in the Bay Area, but I also, would like to cook it myself. So, I mean, getting a chance to get somebody have some authentic recipes, different types, from formal to street food is just amazing. And her ways with vegetables is really great. I want to recommend her healthy cookbooks as well, because she really gives you a great window into cooking some vegetables well, which is something that I think not everybody does well. Some cookbook authors mean well and don't do very well, so I really want to recommend Chetna's books. Her food channel, Food with Chetna on YouTube, is amazing as well. Really want to recommend that. It's fun, and she really gives some good techniques down on her videos. You get a chance to watch that, you get some good ideas for cooking yourself. So without further ado, I just want to go into my interview with Chetna, but the long-winded intro, because it's the 7th season, and I'm really thrilled to be able to keep doing this, and I hope I can continue to do it for quite a long while. But again, here we go to my conversation with the Great British Bake Off's Chetna Makan. Librarian podcast. Today, I am so very, very happy to have on the show someone from the Great British Bake Off that you're going to recognize, Chetna Makan. Chetna, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm really excited. Now, I got to see that you were in the Bay Area recently, and I'm really sorry that I had to miss your appearance at Omnivore Books. Did you have a great book signing there?
Oh, it was so lovely because it was my first time in San Francisco and I had no idea what to expect. And Celia and her team were very welcoming. In fact, all the people who showed up there were very warm, and it was such a lovely chat I had with everyone there.
Did you get to try any great food while you're in San Francisco?
I did try some food, but I'm not sure. There was nothing that will stay with me. Let me just say that.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff here in the San Francisco, but it's kind of like a blur. It's a great
Yeah.
city, but it's like it kind of takes a lot of energy out of you.
Yes, and I was there for a decent time, so it wasn't like I was there for 2 days, and I ate every day. So everything was nice, but nothing was totally memorable.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I travel too, and I like that makes total sense to me. Now, I want to go into your background, if I may, and just talk about your life. You were born in a small town in central India called Jabalpur. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure I got that. And then, so did you get your love of food when you were young? I know a lot of people I talk to that are food writers, they started cooking when they were kids with relatives. Was that the case for you?
I think it was food of, love for food from very early on. I think my parents, both mom and dad, are big foodies, and they are just kind of big feeders, big cooks, big eaters. And I'm one of three girls, and all of us liked cooking, but they didn't start cooking till they were in college and much later, whereas I started when I was at school. So it has been something that always interested me. uh, but having said that, never in my dreams, wildest dreams, did I think I would ever be doing this.
Now, you went on to become a fashion designer. You went to Mumbai to train at the NIFT school. Did you always have a love of fashion?
Yes, as far as I could remember from like maybe 13, 14, I kind of loved the idea of fashion, and I knew that I need to go into that direction. So even when my friends were not sure at school what they want to do, like I was sure I wanted to get into fashion right now, as old as my daughter is 14. That's when I knew I will, what I'll do, I didn't know, but yes, fashion was a field I wanted to go into.
Now, you had your own clothing label. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, yes, God, I haven't spoken about that in years.
So what kind of clothing did you design? Largely women's clothing, or
So actually, I tried my hand at quite a lot of things. I did a bit of women's Indian wear, and I did some kids wear. I did men's wear.
oh,
Then I worked with a kind of brand at the time who had a massive, very prominent fashion store in Mumbai. And I was their chief designer, designing kind of exclusive ranges. We had exclusive ranges coming out every season. And then I tried my hand at accessories like bags and scarves and stuff. And that's when for the first time, I actually came to the UK.
now I spent some time in England, and when I was there in the 80s, I got to go to King's Road, where all the fashion is, where you could
Oh,
buy all the clothing and stuff. You ever get a chance to go to King's Road?
King's Road.
King's Road, yeah, it's like they all these different like designer stores and like I don't know if it's there now. Maybe I'm just
Yeah.
so old that I'm not. Maybe I'm maybe it's no longer there. I don't know, but anyway, they had all the interesting clothes places there when I was younger.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I think when I came here for work, I kind of visited the stores, and I had, I was designing for a brand who was supplying to some of the stores, some of the brands here. So, yeah, it was kind of very interesting um, knowing the fashion world in the UK at the time.
Now, where did the Great British Bake Off come for you? Like, at what point were you aware of it, and where did you decide to when did you decide to apply for it? How did this come together for you?
So I was living here, and this amazing show came on TV, and the first season came, and I watched it, and I loved it. And then the second season came, and I loved it even more. And obviously, the show itself grew bigger by the second season, with viewership, and kind of everyone was really looking for it. Third season, it became really big, and I used to watch it, and my friends used to watch it, and at the school drop we would discuss, oh, this one went out, and what did you think about this bake? And so it was like a point of discussion every week when the show was on. um, and then when it was the fourth season, my few of my friends said, oh, you should really go for it. And I thought, actually, I'm not going to get through because I only make cakes. But then actually I thought, maybe I'm just going to apply for it. And I did. And that's that. Went through and went on the show.
What was your initial when you first found out you're going to be on the show? What was it? Were you like happy and also scared at the same time? How did you feel?
Actually, I remember clearly not being scared at the time. I wasn't scared at all because I was just so happy. And we weren't allowed to tell anyone that we were going to be on the show. So it was, I was actually at a kids play area with my friends, and my friends didn't know I'd applied for it. Only very few of them, very close friends, knew. And I got the phone call and I had to excuse myself and came back, and I just had to make an excuse that someone in India, I remember this so clearly, that someone in India has had a baby, so I'm very happy, I couldn't tell them what the real reason was. But yeah, that's how it happened. And I don't remember being scared at that time at all. It was just so exciting.
If I recall, that it's kind of like they're whisking you off to some separate location to be kind of sequestered away. Is it hard to be on the show? Is it difficult to kind of be there all day long in this big tent and kind of living separately from your family and friends?
So it was only for 2 days we would go away, so 2 nights actually. And it wasn't that bad actually, because it was just that weekend or Friday, Saturday, whatever, 2 days in the week that we were away. So it wasn't like a big going away, and it was around 3.5 hours away from my house. So um, it wasn't that at all. It was not hard, but yeah, the tent, being in the tent from say 7 in the morning till 7, 8 in the evening, and it was very, very full on. I think we were all so tired by the end of the show. The 10 weeks was taking a toll on all of us, including the crew, including the team, not just us as in us participants, but everyone, the whole team. It was very straining. It was just, it was just hard work.
I mean, oh God, yeah. I mean, it looks like it to us just watching it. It looks impossible. I mean, I watch it and going. I mean, for me, it's important. Like I think for most Americans, with people on social media and people at work, I can connect with people over this. I'm not into sports, so I could care less about American football and American baseball. It just doesn't do anything for me. And I never understand all these guys that get so pumped up about sports, watching it every Sunday or whatever. And I'm just like, ugh, boring. But when this show comes on, I get it because I'm like on the edge of my seat. When you guys have a victory, I'm like, yeah. When something happens, I'm like, ah, like it's just like really exciting for me. And like we really get into it. My family watches it, my friends watch it, we talk about it, we discuss it. It's just like it's like sports to us. So I mean, imagine it just must be a lot of pressure for you guys to be doing all this and having like the scrutiny on you. It must be terrifying.
No, but actually, it's very different. So when it's actually happening, when it's actually being recorded, it's just you guys, like us in the tent, and obviously the judges, the cameraman. But it after the first week, you get used to everyone, so you know everyone by names. You know what is everyone doing, so you forget that these millions of people are going to watch you. So at that moment, when you're in the tent, you're not thinking about those millions of people. You're just thinking that your cake should be perfect and that you shouldn't go home.
Yeah.
It's only when August came, like a few months, 2 months later, a month and a half later, when the show actually came, then you start thinking, okay, what are people going to think? Or, and also we have not seen the show, so we are watching it as everyone else is watching it. So we've just done our bit in the tent and have come back home. We haven't seen what part they're going to show, what part they're not going to show. So we don't know how it's going to end up looking. So that's when you start thinking. But mm, when you're in the tent, you're not thinking about any of those things. Maybe it's changed for people now. At that time, I know I can speak for all the people in that show in my year. We're very close friends, and none of us were thinking about what will happen, once it airs. At that time, you just want to bake properly.
So what was it like watching yourself on TV? Was that thrilling? Was it like crazy for you to see yourself on TV?
Actually, it has been 8 years, so it kind of, I haven't watched it. I might have seen a clip or two since then, if it's on and I'm flicking TV and it's on, but I don't remember much, because every time, the every weekday, when on Tuesday the program was on, I used to have a viewing party with all my friends over, because it was something so extraordinary that I was doing, and I was part of this amazing program that I wanted to make the most of it. So I would bake all day and then have friends over in the evening with decades. And I've got pictures of my lounge full of people, and we watched it together. So it was just a party for 10 weeks in my house every Tuesday.
That's great.
So I don't remember thinking about it as, yeah, I just remember it as this amazing few months of having get-togethers and parties. And I am so glad I did this, because it was once in a lifetime thing. I'm not going to go on a show like that again, or any other show. It's just something I've done it once, and that's the end of it.
Now, what was it like interacting with Paul Hollywood and Mary Berry?
They were lovely. I remember the first day we were standing, we were all set early in the morning. We were all in positioned behind our counters. And Mel and Sue came and said hello to everyone. We were like, oh, because everyone loves Mel and Sue. They were the presenters at the time. And
Yeah.
then Mary and Paul walked in, and literally all of us were like, and you could hear from all over the tent, because we were just so in awe of seeing them both walk in. And then it just suddenly became very real.
Yeah.
So real. I will not forget that moment when they walked in, and for the first time, and it was just like, wow.
Now, I want to ask about the food that you make. So some of the items you made looked really challenging to me. Like Florentines have always been for me a kryptonite. Like I can't make them. I hate them because they're just so evil to make. What was the most challenging things that you had to make?
I think it's very easy to say the most challenging one in our year, which was Baked Alaska,
Yeah.
because it was the hottest day. And not just my other contestant in the year, Ian, who is just so lovely. Not just he was not the only one who had a kind of a disaster. There were a lot of us. It's just that he had such a big disaster that none of us, no one else got to see what happened to others. And it was just, I think that was really hard. I think biggest reason because it was the hottest day of the year, and it was just the wrong day for the wrong item. But that was the hardest for sure.
Yeah, when I heard you had to make that, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, it's so hot. Why are you doing this to them?" It seemed so cruel to make you guys do that.
Yeah, but when they are setting the challenges, they don't know it's going to be the hottest day. It by
Ah,
chance happens.
I thought they're just being
This
cruel.
no, this is decided months in advance. So it could have been raining and amazing weather for the tent. And if you watch the program, it always happens when it's chocolate week. It's always the hottest day. It does not happen obviously on purpose. It just happens, and it makes for better television.
Now, you had something that you made. It was the German Schichtort that looked really
Yes.
horrible to make. What was going in your head when you got the news you had to make that? That must have been really like, ah, God.
Yeah, but that was, I think that if I remember correctly, that was a technical challenge. So we
Yeah.
didn't know we were going to be making that till we were given, and obviously I didn't know, like all the other technical challenges, we don't know what they look like. So we are just literally guessing. And I think it was just, yeah, I think by the time the semi-final came, I was definitely very tired. And I think it was just, I think it was backlovers before that. And I think I didn't get very good comments on that. Um, and yeah, I think I had kind of was feeling a bit weak in my confidence. And I think that was very, yeah, it was one of those things. And I don't think it was a good item to bake anyways, because it's not a nice
No.
kind of, it's just tasteless pancakes, really.
What do you think you're most proud of all the things you made on the show?
I think, oh, actually, there were quite a few things. I loved the week two biscuit week, where I made a carousel on the sand on the beach, which I think, yeah, I love that. That was quite nice. I was also very, very very proud to kind of work on Indian pies for the first time. Nobody had done Indian. Obviously, since then, you can find all sorts of Indian flavored pies everywhere in so many cookbooks, in so many people making it. But at that time, it had not been done, so I was not sure how it will be received. But that was something I, was very very proud of, to make something so new. Yeah, that was quite amazing too.
This episode is sponsored by Culinary Historians of Northern California, a Bay Area educational group dedicated to the study of food, drink, and culture in human history. To learn more about this organization and their work, please visit their website at www.chnorcal.org. Now, after the show, you got to start doing some wonderful books, and you've been very prolific in books. And your first book was The Gorgeous and Beautiful Cardamom Trail. And I love this book. It's just really a lovely book. And I feel like you got to put so much of yourself into it. Did you get to talk to the publisher about how you wanted to look and feel? Because it really is not just a good cookbook, but it actually looks very inviting and it's fun to look at the pages and everything.
I think with my publishers, I'm quite lucky to have very supportive publishers. So they did actually let me kind of were happy for me to choose the look, the design. Obviously, I didn't choose the cover picture because that's something as
Right.
a team we choose. So it's not
Yeah.
one person doesn't choose it. And it's happened with all the covers. One person doesn't choose the cover. It's a team effort. Everyone from sales to production to editors and myself, everyone has a say in it, which I think is fair enough. But inside the book, I all the fabrics I used in the book, because I used a lot of fabrics in the book. Every shot almost had some fabric, was my
Yeah.
personal collection fabric from my personal collection. And I just wanted this kind of warm, welcoming feel, because at that time, all the cookbooks I looked were white on white or very bright pictures, as in very beautiful, but everything was very kind of nothing was if it was colorful, it was like bright and colorful. I couldn't find like a warm feeling book, and I was very sure. I think, being from the creative background, I had my ideas and I had my choices. So yes, and I continue to do so. So it wasn't just that book. All the books I've done, I've been able to say and have a big say in how it looks, and I'm there for the whole shoot of the book. So I make sure that the food looks exactly how I would serve it and all things. So it's, yeah, it is kind of my vision, which comes into being with the help of this amazing team.
Your second book was Chai, Chat, and Chutney. And I'm really lucky. I live in the Bay Area and we have just some amazing Indian street food places all over the Bay Area. In fact, the neighborhood where I live, people kind of sell it out of their home and you can just get it everywhere here. So it's really, I'm really lucky. Not so much everywhere else in the United States, but I know we're very fortunate and blessed. But it's really it's neat to kind of get to see somebody in a cookbook talk about the street food and get to like you get to get examples of what it is and when it how it is made and like what goes into it. What inspired you to write this book, and like did you have a love of that you wanted to bring to the the publishing market and let everybody get a chance to see it?
I think with every book, I have to say, I've tried to do something that is not already there in the market. So when the
Yeah.
Cardamom Trail came out, it was about adding the spices to the bakes, which was not done before. And then
Yeah.
when I got the green light for the second book, I thought I want to do street food. I love Indian street food. And moving here, it made me realize that for people outside of India, a lot of people, not all of them, Indian street food means samosa and maybe chaat, and that's it. But it's not just that. And I thought, okay, this is gives me an opportunity to introduce them. Even I don't know half the Indian street food. So that's why I traveled, I researched, and I just wanted to make people aware that I am presenting you these 80 plus recipes from 4 parts of the country, 4 cities of of India, and this is just a glimpse of how varied and amazing Indian street food is. And I think that is, I'm proud of every book, but that is very close to my heart, because I think, again, that was not something and hasn't been done in that way. So there isn't any other cookbook like that. So
Right.
it makes me very proud of, I'm not kind of putting another book that's similar to, there might be hundreds others. There's something unique I am trying to bring to the book world, or uh, educate, or kind of make it interesting for the reader.
Now, your third and fourth books were Chetna's Healthy Indian and Chetna's Healthy Indian Vegetarian. And they're just really great cookbooks because they give, I feel like I've been working on doing reviews for these. And in them, when I really go through the recipes, the one thing that strikes me the most, also with your fifth book as well, but there really are some great examples of how to cook with vegetables, which I don't always see because I feel it's gratuitous in other books. Whereas this is, you're actually just, you seem to like, I feel like you have a great take on vegetables. Like you really seem to understand vegetables and how they're cooked. And you're bringing it to people that may not, like, I sometimes struggle to cook vegetables for my family and get them to eat them. I like eating vegetables, but my family not so much. So I kind of have to almost entice them with something unique and good. And you really pull out all the stops with your take. Was that your intent, is to kind of like get British people and like Americans eating more vegetables? Were you thinking about that?
I think not necessarily. That is not the reason. I think because, like, my dad is vegetarian, my husband's vegetarian, and the only meat we eat is chicken and fish. We are mostly vegetarian. So I only cook chicken in my house here twice a month, maybe. And that's kind of exaggeration. Sometimes it's not even once a month. But yeah, twice a month I cook chicken at home. So we are essentially vegetarians, and I don't like, I don't want to eat the same food day in day out. So
Right.
I've grown up like that, and it comes quite naturally. It's not like I am kind of coming up with something completely unique, which is why the healthy Indian books happen, because the number of people that question me after Cardamom Trail and street food, chai chaat and chutney, is like, oh my god, is this how you eat? And if you eat like this, how do you stay fit? And blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, yes, we do eat that, but that's not how we eat day in and day out. They
Right.
are special meals or whatever, weekend meals or whatever, but that's not our everyday meal. And
Yeah.
that's where the healthy Indian food came about, because again, there was nothing in the market like that. And I don't want it healthy where I'm counting calories and I am trying to say don't put any oil, and kind of take away all the soul of living life, kind of a happiness of eating. So I wanted to show them that actually we do eat very healthy Indian food every day in Indian homes, in India. So we eat vegetables, seasonal vegetables, because you can't really find vegetables out of season
Right.
as such. And it just comes naturally. So I just hope that, I'm so glad to hear that it does come across like I am making vegetables more interesting. It is just a natural way of cooking for us, I guess.
Well, that goes into Chetna's 30-minute India in your fifth book, and that's quick and everyday meals. Now, I cook for my family every day, and I love it, but it could be a chore sometimes. Like there's times when I'm like, I don't want to do this. But I think your book really kind of speaks to this because I feel like you get it. Because like you often have some takes on cooking that are simple and have fresh and flavorful stuff that's not boring. And that is such a godsend to people like me because I can take this book and I can actually utilize it week when I prepare my grocery lists for the store. I can look at this book and say, okay, I need to get this, this, and this. And it's really wonderful. And I just feel like, did you have a mind to this when you made it? Like you're kind of giving us a lifeline out here for people like me. We have to do this.
It's not just people like you, it's for people like me too, because I love cooking. But like, say today I have run around from one place to the other, meetings in the afternoon, and I've just picked up my son and it's already 5 o'clock and I
Yeah.
need to prepare a meal. I haven't prepared a meal yet, but a 30-minute meal is so doable. And the biggest thing for me is I don't want to eat food as if it's a job. I want to eat delicious food. So my biggest thing in all my books is flavor. I do not want to compromise on flavor, whether it's cooked in 30 minutes or whether it's street food. It is or healthy food. So it's not just lifeline for you, it's a lifeline for me too. And I know so many people in the same position because they come back from work and they haven't got time, and even on weekends not everyone wants to be spending cooking, as
Yeah.
much as people want to rest and do other things, but they
Yeah.
want to eat good meals. So that is how that book came about. And I think, again, just trying to tell people that actually no, you don't have to spend hours, and a few recipes in that book actually get ready in 15 minutes. So, and some are exactly 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
yes, you
Very much.
can, yeah. So it's something that can easily be done without making any excuses. If you've got the things ready, obviously, if you've got the ingredients in the house, then that's it. It's easy peasy.
Now I got to ask you, you got a book coming out September, Chetna's Easy Baking, and with a twist of spice comes out. Can you tell us a little bit about this book? I know you may not be able to talk about it, but can we talk just a little bit about it? Give us some teasers about what's coming up.
Yes, I think I can definitely tell you that it is going back to my love of baking, and it's quite nice that I've done all these Indian books and I'm back to a baking book. And this time it is 100% baking book. So every obviously recipe needs an oven, and it's something that is quite special because it's got savory baking, and I've made it into chapters where it's savory baking is baking with all the things from the garden, like vegetable patches. So it's all the kind of using courgettes and carrots and, for example, aubergines. And so it's baking with vegetables, again, making vegetables interesting. It's also, for the first time, I've done a special chapter for vegan food, vegan baking, which I've never done. But I thought it is time because I get so many requests for that. So, and all the recipes are again easy. My main thing is people should not feel that, oh my God, I can't do this. That's not the purpose. The purpose of doing books is so that people think, oh yeah, I can do this easy. Yeah, so it's easy, simple baking, but it's my book, so it has to have some kind of spices. Not every single kind of recipe has it, but it's got like a pizza naan. It's got some lovely pastries with delicious Indian spices mixed into it, and it's got pies and it's got cakes.
It sounds great. This sounds wonderful. And I have to say, you're the only, I've never liked aubergines. And I like the look of them. I think they're beautiful, but like I've never liked to eat them because I always had them prepared badly. You're the only food writer that actually makes me want to go buy one. So
Oh,
thank you for
thank
that.
you.
Now I want to tell people, I know you've got to get going, but I just want to tell people you have a wonderful, wonderful YouTube channel, Food with Chetna. I just want to ask you, the production quality is just amazing. And is that your kitchen in the episodes?
Well, so production has changed over the years because I've had that channel after I finished writing my first book, Cardamom Trail. I started the channel. And before, I used to have a cameraman come into the kitchen and make the videos for me. But COVID changed everything because the
Right.
cameraman couldn't come anymore. So for the last 2 years now, exactly 2 years in March, when the cameraman couldn't come, I couldn't stop. I love YouTube. I love sharing recipes on it. It's because I do it from my home kitchen. So it's not like I'm doing it in a professional capacity. I'm just sharing what I'm cooking for my family with my family on YouTube. So it just feels so friendly. So when the cameraman couldn't come, my kids said, "Oh, mom, you could make it on the phone." And I said, "Actually, yeah." So my kids started filming it, and I would tell them angles and stuff. And after a while, I didn't have to tell them angles and stuff because they get better angles than I do.
They're doing a good
So
job.
yeah.
Good job.
Saved on some money as well, but it wasn't out of choice. It was just something that I had to do if I wanted to continue YouTube in the lockdown. And actually, lockdown, doing YouTubes, did YouTube videos every single day for the first lockdown for 6 weeks. which was intense. But I got amazing messages from people where it helped them so much. Just having, like, people said that because they were not doing anything, they would just look forward to that 10-15 minute video and just cheer them up, and whether they cooked that or not, which a lot of people did, but it was just something they looked forward to. And actually, that made me extremely happy and made it all worthwhile, I guess. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I do like YouTube. I do like my YouTube channel a lot.
You do so, I mean, it's nice to see you cook some of the recipes on there because it gives me kind of a window into how to do it, the techniques. And I mean, there may be simple things for you, but it really helped me. Like the vegetarian Hakka noodles, I'll make that for my family. And then I really love Scotch eggs. So the Indian Scotch eggs you made with Katie, really
Yeah.
brilliant. I'm like, I got to try that. That looks amazing. So you did some
Oh,
great
I'm
stuff
so
on there.
glad. Oh,
No.
thank
And I
you.
like the Chetna chats, the little side Chetna chats you did. Those are really fun. I like those. I hope you do more of those.
I do hope so. But I think Chetna Chats was such an Instagram thing in lockdown. But I think the world is open now. I'm not sure how many people. YouTube is something you can, catch back or put on
Yeah.
a TV and make it. It's different to Instagram, where I think Instagram. I'm not sure many people want to sit down and watch Instagram videos anymore. So, but I really enjoyed that too. I wish I might see if in the summer I could do a few special appearances, kind of video chats with some of my favorite bakers.
Well, I recommend people watch it because they're really brilliant and they really are great demonstrations of cooking too. And beautiful kitchen, really lovely, really a
Thank
nice
you.
kitchen. I want to thank you for being on the show. I know you got to get going, but thank you so much for being here and talking to me today. I really love to get a chance to talk to you. And I want to recommend your gorgeous cookbooks. They're very beautiful and they're really inspiring. Go out and they're available. I'm going to have links on the bio. You can go to there and purchase the books there. Chetna, thank you for being on the program.
Oh, thank you so much. This was such a lovely chat. Thank you.
Thank you. It was my conversation with the great British Bake-Off's Chetna Makan. We have links to her biography and also her cookbooks in the bio. I suggest you check that out, as well as the YouTube video that she does, Cooking Food with Chetna. Uh, that'll be on there as well. So check all those links out. And also, we're going to be having later this week on Friday, we're going to be having one of my friends, Nick Hayward. Hey, Nick, chef, artist, and writer. He's excellent at all these things on the program. I know him largely from the Medium program that we're on together, One Table, One World, and then also just from talking to him. He has been on panels before when I've worked doing food panels for public libraries. He's always been such a gracious guest, and I just wanted to have him on the program. Not only just because he's great telling about food and techniques, his food writing, great artist, just an awesome guy, and I wanted to have a chance to talk with a friend. So he's going to be on Friday, and then on Monday we're going to have Neil Buttery, A Dark History of Sugar. Really loved getting to talk to Neil. I feel like I was talking to an old friend the whole time I was talking to him. Just a great conversation. I really want to let you listen to that podcast because I really enjoyed it. So please tune in for that. You're really going to enjoy it. Also learn quite a bit at the same time because, we had a fun conversation. We talked about a very serious topic. So I want to encourage you to be there. So you can go on to the links, and if you feel the urge, you can buy me a coffee or a pint on the link to the Buy Me a Coffee website. And then you can also help us promote the podcast and share the episode with a friend on social media or just send them an email with the podcast episode in it. I'd be very grateful. You can share it on social media on Twitter with the tag um, Librarian, and also you could share on Facebook. Follow the Well Seasoned Librarian podcast on Spotify or iTunes or Stitcher, and you'll get notified when new episodes are released. And you can subscribe to the podcast newsletter and get updates on my articles and more at wellseasonedlibrarian.substack.com. And I want to also give a very grateful thanks to our theme song, Talk About Love, which is sung by the band Kitty Cat Fan Club. Their label, Asian Men Records, can be reached at asianmenrecords.com. You can go onto the website, listen to some tunes, see some music videos. You can buy some of their merchandise. I have several of their wonderful t-shirts. I recommend you buy them. Also, they make stickers, all kinds of things. And not the least, you can buy vinyl of the band's performances of many different bands that they manage on there. So thank you, Asian Man Records, for letting us use Talk About Love. So that's it, you guys. I don't have anything else. Again, I am chuffed and humbled and gobsmacked to be doing season 7, episode 1. I get to do this because you guys listen and you're out there listening, and I'm very grateful. And I really love hearing feedback, so contact me through the website and give me a shout out. Tell me what you think about the program and getting any ideas you might have. Until then, I hope you have a great week. Keep cooking.
I've been getting better, better than you'll know. Take a little time for it to show. You make my life seem settled, settling for more. Take a little time for love to grow. Will you break my heart with so much pleasure? Will you talk around for all to hear? When you talk about love, I've been getting better, better than you'll know. Take a little time for it to show. You make